Hey, it's me, MLB. Here is chapter 34 of Heard You Like Me, and this one is titled Final Day. You made it to the top of the stairs and staggered to your feet, swaying your way down the corridor to the staff room where you could hear Aizawa's internal voice monologuing about something. With a quick yank to the staff room door, you pulled it open and just stood there, one hand clutching the door frame while the other one held onto the sliding door, your dead eyes locking onto your teacher. He looked up from his desk, saw you, in your rawest form, and sighed internally. What mess has appeared on my doorstep today? He thought. Good morning to you too, you replied. Your mic is on. He grunted. What brings you here this morning? He asked in a tired voice. Listen, you said as you stumbled in through the door and smacked a hand down on his desk. From one corpse to another, I don't want to have to say more than absolutely necessary, and you don't want to have to listen to more than what's absolutely necessary. So this is my question. Is there a spare room for me to move into? I don't want to go into details, so tell me, yes or no? As it stands, no. But if anything opens up, I'll let you know. He replied, and you dropped your head and then picked it back up again. Great, thank you. Enjoy the rest of your funeral, you replied, standing up straight and walking back out the door from whence you had just come. Who was that? Present Mike asked from his desk, having witnessed the whole thing. Not my child, but I'm starting to wonder. Aizawa replied. I was going to say, the resemblance is uncanny, Present Mike joked. What does she want her own room for? Who is she with now? She's a close friend of Momo Yaoyorozu, doing exchange for 10 months from the French hero course. Aizawa replied. Momo insisted that Yin stay with her. And things aren't working out? Present Mike asked. Aizawa shrugged. Not my boat. I'm not sailing it. If there's a hole in it, it's not my job to repair it. He replied. She doesn't want to sail it or fix it either by the looks of things, Present Mike chuckled. They'll just have to work themselves out on their own. Aizawa said as he looked back down to his papers in front of him. I got my hands full, looking for an assistant to Class 1A, and we have that conference coming up in America at the end of the year too. Oh, I'm looking forward to that, Present Mike said excitedly. You would be. Aizawa sighed. As you wandered your way back down to level 1, you thought about what you were going to do. It was weird, but you didn't feel upset that Aizawa had said that there was no spare rooms. It was just a matter of, okay, tried that, tick it off, you thought, pushing your hands into your pockets as you started walking down the stairs. You thought that you were being clever by having your hands tucked away, but a sudden bout of dizziness made you untuck them quickly and hold on to the rails as you descended. When you got to the bottom, you were surprised to see all your girls waiting for you, and you gave them a quizzical smile before stopping in front of Jirou. I thought you'd all be out the door and gone now, you asked. We were waiting for you, Jirou said, looking up at you, and you grinned and plopped a hand down on her head. You're so cute, you replied, smiling lovingly at her. Momo's heart clenched and she looked sadly down her front and then turned away. Shall we go? She asked, not looking back at you at all. Yes, final day, let's go, Mina said brightly, as she skipped over next to Momo and linked her arm playfully with the taller Ravenette. You ready, Momo? She giggled. Momo was surprised to have someone touching her, but she had been starved of your touch for a while now, and she really did need something, so readily accepted it. Yes, she said happily, squeezing Mina's arm. Let's go. The final day is going to be so good. End on a high, Mina replied to her. You and Jirou walked behind them, and you reached out and took her hand in yours to squeeze it for a second before letting it go. You ready for the final day? You asked her. Then it's back to the 9 to 5. Fun, she replied blandly. At least I get to see you every day, you said with a nudge to her arm, and she smiled up at you. Yeah, she replied. Thank God. Praise, you said, doing jazz hands. She snorted and giggled. You're such a dork, she replied cheekily. Once you had met with your overseeing hero, you got the rundown for that day and mentally prepared for what you would need to do. Doing patrols as usual for the final day, he said with a grin. Can I just say it's been a pleasure to work with all of you. You will all make fine heroes in the future. Thanks, Dad, you replied with a grin. Love you too. Pleasure, he replied stiffly. You held back your laughter so as not to disturb him even more, but you loved that he just didn't quite know how to take you. In the afternoon, there might be some odd jobs needing doing, he added. A little clean-up from yesterday's parade, assisting the kindy kids from the local daycare centre to cross the road on their return from an outing today. Ew, you whispered. Booger goblins. Jirou snorted and then quickly coughed to cover herself, and the hero looked at her and then paused and kept talking. Yeah, things like that. Your aim today is to make as good an impression on the general public as possible, he added, looking at you. Felt like that was personal, Father, you replied with one eyebrow raised. Please do not refer to citizens as mother and father. They might not take to it kindly, he said with a worried look on his face. I got it, Pops, don't stress, you joked. I'm glad that it's the final day, he said internally, and you coughed. Don't sugarcoat it. Give it to me straight, you said, shooting him a cold stare. He sheepishly cleared his throat and then decided to wrap everything up and let you get on with your day. Okay, that's all for now. Meet back here 1 p.m. for this afternoon, and I'll have a more detailed schedule then, he said. You all confirmed that you would meet back at 1 p.m. and then turned to walk off, naturally pairing off as you and Jirou and Mina and Momo. Man, I'm going to miss wandering around the streets, not doing much, you said to Jirou as you walked. Yeah, she replied. So, what did Aizawa say? Do they have a spare room? Nope, you said, popping your pea. So, move in with me then, she said casually. Yeah, we'll talk about it later, you replied. You still didn't want to move out of Momo's room, but acting hesitant in front of Jirou was only going to upset her again, and you didn't want that, so you decided to delay it until later, if you could. Okay, she said with a smile. Hey, also, I wanted to thank you in person and not in my mind for staying out of Momo's room. You didn't have to do that, but I appreciate that you were thinking of my feelings. Oh, of course, babe. I get it. I don't want to upset you, so if moving out or sleeping elsewhere is going to make you feel more comfortable, then I'll do it, you said. If we can somehow come to some other arrangement, though, that didn't involve me moving out, that would be great, you added internally. Thanks, she said with a squeeze to your arm as she looped her hand around it. You smiled down at her and then looked up to see an elderly lady trying to bend over to pick up her bag that she dropped. Oh, there's about to be a fatality here, you joked. Her hips are about to go out of business. Let me just grab her bag real quick for her. Oh, yeah, go, Jirou said, watching as you jogged ahead a little to help the lady. Yuna's really sweet and kind, Jirou thought, as she watched you with the older lady successfully retrieving her bag from the ground and giving it back to her. A job well done, Jirou said once you'd returned to her. Thank you, that was my most daring rescue, you replied cheekily. Heroes, huh? They think they're so good, you heard a voice from nearby say in their mind, and you looked up and around to see who it was, noticing a somewhat dishevelled-looking man standing a little distance off glaring at you and Jirou. Oh, hello, you said quietly with amusement, looking away from him so he didn't think that you had heard his inner thoughts. What delightful person do we have here? Oh, it's the next naughty person to step on the scene. We'll see how this goes. Stay tuned for chapter 35 coming tomorrow. I'll see you then.